There's something I want to share with you this afternoon. I was having a conversation with a Nigerian youth, and at a point he was like, "Oh, Father, no, no, no. My philosophy now is kami felege modogu ifikeme, kami felege modogu ifikeme." That's my mindset this time around. I was like, "Oh my word!" Which means, this kind of philosophy is beginning to sink into the mindsets of many Nigerians, especially the youths. And I think I deem it very germane to use this platform to teach us one or two things about this kind of philosophy. One, the philosophy is very, very dangerous. It's a very dangerous philosophy. And my intention is not to attack anybody. I just want to correct an impression and to help people to think very well before um, they put up or put on any philosophical idea as a garment of life. Um, First of all, is an Igbo statement. Kamifelege modogu ifikeme. If I can translate it very well, it has to do with instead of a strong man being disgraced, let something strong happen or something hard happen. Let unthinkable happen or let unimaginable happen or disaster happen. Let whatever will happen, happen, or something like that. Is a very dangerous philosophy. It's Machiavellian. It's Machiavellian in nature. The end justifies the means. I'm gonna get whatever I want to get. The means through which I'm gonna get it doesn't really matter. The end justifies the means. Very bad philosophy. And secondly, it is so egoistic. It is all about the Odogu. It's not even about the people. It's about his selfish interest, about his ego. I cannot be disgraced. Anything can happen, but let it not be that I am being disgraced, or I'm being insulted, or that my dignity is being hampered. It's about him. It's about Odogu. It's a very bad philosophy. In short, is bad for a king. It's a bad for a leader to have that kind of philosophy. If you listen to someone like Patrice Lumumba, Patrice Lumumba is quoted to have said that no amount of intimidation or suppression or oppression will ever make me to beg for mercy. I prefer to die with my head unbowed and my decision unshaken, so my living in affluence while my people die in servitude. So you can see that this kind of radical statements is about his people. So he's altruistic, absolutely selfless. Well, that kind of people can be celebrated because they are ready to shed their blood. They are ready to sacrifice their life for the sake of the people, not about him. So such statements, such radical political thought or revolutionary thoughts, can be understood because you see, sacrifice in it. One of our great patriots, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, is being quoted to have said, "To no person should we sell our souls, no matter how worthy they are. And to no nation should we mortgage our conscience, no matter how powerful they are. And to no group should we pawn our thoughts, no matter how influential they are." In this kind of radical thoughts, again, you see honesty, integrity. He was talking about integrity. Do what is right, no matter what happens. Just do what you know is right. Be honest. In this kind of statement, you see integrity in it. It's not about let anything happen. Whatever will happen, let it happen. So I think that kind of philosophy is just very bad for our society. Is really, really, really a dangerous one. And it's not something the youth should imbibe, especially this time around in our country, in our society. It's not even needed, you see. And sometimes what we actually call insults, sometimes what we call insults or disgrace or failure. Sometimes it is in your mind. If you read the meditations of Marcus Aurelius, you see that most of the things you fear, they are just your imagination. They are not realities. So you can think that you are insulted, you're disgraced, but it's not really disgrace. It is you. It is you who feel it is a disgrace. If you feel it is disgrace, it is an insult. It's failure. Who defines failure actually? So we've got to be very, 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 very careful the way we see things and the way we explain things. I don't think it's a very good philosophy for people to imbibe, or some philosophical example for people to follow. Kami felege modo bifikem. It's this kind of thought that made Herod to kill John the Baptist. This kind of thought. Instead of Herod to feel disgraced, let anything that will happen happen. If you read Things Fall Apart, what do you think made Okonkwo to kill Ikemefuna? This kind of thought, you know, it's not always that way. And it's not just about leadership. It's not about leadership. Even in our business and commercial activities, if this kind of thought comes into you and you take it as a philosophy, you see poverty as a disgrace, and instead of living in such disgrace, anything can happen. Let me just do whatever I can do. And then you begin to go into business activities that will destroy you. I'm not preaching against risk taking. You've got to take risk. I take risk myself. Well, you've got to be prudent. I'm not preaching cowardice. No, no. No follower want to follow someone who is just a coward. But calmness is not cowardice. In short, if you see a man of calmness, you see a man of patience and calmness, such is a great man, such is a powerful man. And there are many calm, great souls who have achieved a lot in business, in politics, in education, in administration, in management, achieved great feats. But they weren't aggressive and violent and Machiavellian. So we can still achieve it being calm and following the right way, the way of non-violence. So I think it's something we have to think about. I don't know how many of us have heard about a man called Vladimir Lenin. If you have read about Russian Revolution of the 20th century, early 20th century, the Russian Revolution, Vladimir Lenin was really, really, really popular, really, really famous among his people for that revolution at that time. Very bloody revolution, 1917 revolution, 1905 revolution. The slogan of the workers in 1905 was death or freedom. You could imagine how bloody it was, death or freedom. Lenin was a powerful Marxist, socialist. But he was quoted to have said on his deathbed, I have made a lot of mistakes. I've made mistakes. No doubt. Multitude of people, oppressed people, ought to be liberated in Russia. But my method was wrong. My method was wrong because it only inspired or brought about more oppression, an incredible massacre of the innocent people. My living nightmare was to find myself in the ocean of red, of the blood of innocent citizens, innocent Russian citizens. I cannot rewrite the past. The past cannot be cancelled. But one thing I know is that what Russia needed to be saved was 10 St. Francis of Assisi. 10 St. Francis of Assisi. This was said by Lenin. St. Francis of Assisi was a great saint, a great Catholic saint of the 13th century, a man of peace. In short, well, for me, in my own opinion, I don't think anyone has influenced, his spirituality has influenced the spirituality of many Catholics, like St. Francis of Assisi. Apart from St. Paul, don't think, very powerful, mystic, a man of peace, a man of peace. The first person to receive the gift of stigmatism in the history of Roman Catholic Church, Francis of Assisi. His spirituality is still palpably felt among Christians up to today. But Lenin, on his sick bed, was saying that Russia needed only 10 Francis of Assisi, not violence. In his work, because I'm involved, Ojukwu said in page 17 of that work, he says, I've been in the battlefield. I've seen the carnage. I've reflected on all this, and I've come to the conclusion that warfare solves nothing. In other words, violence solves nothing. We only need to accommodate and not to dominate. Sometimes what people call weakness, what people call weakness is strength. Tell me great men that at a point their followers didn't call them weak. Tell me great men, successful politicians, successful leaders, successful great businessmen that at a point, men of peace, that people didn't at a point call them stupid and weak. I was reading a work written by Arthur Brooke. The name of the book is From Strength to Strength. And Arthur Brooke is not a religious guy. He's not like a theologian. I think he's a professor of management, social science and management, and Harvard Business School. Arthur Brooke, in the 80th chapter of his work, said that he was asking, who is the most successful entrepreneur in the history of the world? And he says, this goes hands down to Paul of Tarsus. I was surprised. Paul of Tarsus. St. Paul. So up to today, the work of St. Paul is still relevant. How Paul organized the doctrine of Christianity into a body of theology. That's to the extent that, many secular historians will always say that Paul is the founder of Christianity. You can imagine how influential and powerful Paul was. And his thoughts are still great, are still relevant among Christians today. The greatest theologian in the history of Christianity, St. Paul of Tarsus. Or here is an economist saying that Paul is the greatest entrepreneur in the history of mankind. And that's his work, he says. And what was the entrepreneurial secret of St. Paul? His weakness. His weakness that Paul had, he said, there was an agent of Satan sent to torment me. 3 times I prayed against that. And God said to me, my grace is enough for you, and my power is made manifest in weakness. My power is made manifest in weakness. And so I can boast in my weakness, I can boast in my hardship, I can boast in my failure. I can boast. It's the secret of my strength is my weakness. And so sometimes when people think you're weak because you're patient, you're kind, you are gentle, you're calm, you are meek, it's easy to think that way. But that doesn't mean instability. It is strength. I tell you, if you stay with a man of calmness, a leader of calmness, you are with a strong man. In short, those who are cowards are the violent ones, the aggressive ones. Honestly speaking, are the violent ones. They are very, very fearful. They are afraid of the truth. They are afraid of confrontation. They are afraid of correction. They are afraid of everything. So calmness doesn't depict weakness, honestly speaking. And following the right way doesn't in any way depict weakness. And no violence is strength. And God's power is made manifest in weakness. There's a Christian philosopher called Erasmus. I think he's from Netherlands, a Dutch philosopher, a Dutch Christian theologian and philosopher. He wrote a book, The Folly is the Key to Happiness. He says, when a rock falls on your head, it is obviously harmful. But you see disgrace, shame, curses, they are only felt. They are only felt as long as you notice them. For what is not noticed is not troublesome. Whatever is not noticed is not troublesome. And as far as you applaud yourself, what harm are the hisses of the world? And folly is the key to this happiness. I want to advise our young people to understand that it's not just everything you hear on the air that you just take it up because you love whoever said it or something like that. You know, I have seen a situation whereby in a competition, someone who failed or someone who was announced to have failed becomes the hero of the people. The hero of the people. It has happened more than 1,000 times. And history has shown us that time tells. Time tells. So calmness, patience, gentleness doesn't depict failure, doesn't depict weakness. Sometimes what you call weakness is strength. Kamifelege modogu, ifikeme, sometimes can be very dangerous. It's not altruistic. It's not. It's egotist. It's egoistic, and it's not something we should imbibe. It's not a line of thought that we should celebrate. Peace is the best. Peace is the best. Peace for all. Thank you, and God bless you.